This is the Morning Breach with Scott Davis. Today is Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. The year 2020 will be in the history books for many reasons, and the growth and success of cybercrimes should be one of them. This year saw some of the largest data breaches ever recorded, some that the full scope is not yet known, and there are likely thousands, if not millions more, that went unreported. The year started with a Microsoft database sitting completely open with no authentication, which exposed roughly 250 million users. Databases and online data storage proved to be easy targets for cyber criminals, as similar attacks also hit UK-based security company Elasticsearch, the 16th largest bank in the world, Santander, app developer Firebase, San Francisco Employees Retirement System, the cybersecurity firm KeepNet Labs, travel sites like Booking.com, Expedia, Hotels.com, and others. And there were many more, both big and small. Police departments were targets across the globe, as Blue Leaks reported a breach of 24 years of history from police departments across the United States. It wasn't just law enforcement, but government agencies from local municipalities, counties, state agencies, federal agencies, and all reported data breaches. It is safe to say that there was at least one government-level cyber attack in each of the 50 U.S. states. Universal Health Services, one of the largest healthcare providers and hospital chains in the United States, had staff keeping records with pen and paper and rerouted ambulances to hospitals. The healthcare industry has always been a high risk due to the amount of data that is often collected. BJC Healthcare, UPMC Altoona, Doctors Community Medical Center, Babylon Healthcare Services, even the genealogy site GED Match. And again, this is just a small sample of the reported cyber attacks against health services through 2020. The biggest two stories, which are still being uncovered, are the cyber attacks on Blackbaud and SolarWinds. Both provided entry points via their application or service into their clients' data. And it will likely be a year or more from now until we fully understand the full scope of these two attacks. Blackbaud software was connected to over 170 data breach reports, and it was a sophisticated cyber attack which occurred back in May of 2020 via a ransomware attack. Blackbaud produces cloud-based fundraising, marketing, and customer relationship management solutions for educational, nonprofits, healthcare providers, and more globally. SolarWinds is the latest breach that still has a lot of people talking. Here, the Orion platform, which is embedded in several SolarWinds products, had its source code breached and code added to allow the cyber criminals behind the attack access to the end customers. The late 2020 cyber attack affected government agencies globally, including the U.S. Treasury, Homeland Security, Department of State, and many others. Some 250 government agencies and businesses may have been affected by the SolarWinds breach, including the latest report from Microsoft that the cyber criminals were able to view source code in a number of their source code repositories, but they stressed that access was read-only. Closing out 2020, there were attacks on Lake Regional Healthcare, Whirlpool Corporation, the city of Cornelia, Georgia, Carnival Cruise Line subsidiaries Ada Cruises and Costa Crociere, Indigo, and even another T-Mobile data breach. If you're keeping track, it's their fourth in the last 3 years. As 2020 comes to an end, the promising note is more companies are asking questions about cybersecurity and how they should protect themselves. So we'll take that as a win, as it's actually going to get the wheels moving in the right direction. We are only 5 days into 2021, and it appears cyber criminals are looking to improve on their successes of 2020. The cyber criminals hit many milestones in 2020, including creating alliances with other hacking groups to share resources, source code, and knowledge. That alone puts you at a disadvantage. We've also already seen critical vulnerabilities patched in Zyxel, Zyxel devices, including their security gateways, VPN firewalls, and many of their other products. Each month through 2021, the Morning Breach is going to tackle topics to help businesses better protect themselves against cyber criminals. The first thing that needs done with any changes to a cybersecurity plan is proper and updated documentation. So it makes sense that throughout January, we focus on the policies and procedures that every business should be documenting. Not only will we talk about them, but you will be able to find samples of them available at themorningbreach.com for you to download, edit for your organization, and then implement. If you don't take the time to properly build this documentation, then you have no way to gauge how secure your data or your network actually is. The Data Security Vendor Checklist isn't a policy per se, but it's a critical document that you should have on file for every vendor that has access to or stores your data. You need to understand how these third parties treat your data and the access you're trusting them with. If we just look back at the Blackbaud breach in 2020 as a strong example of the reason why. So who should you have complete this form? Managed service providers or your IT vendor, printing companies, line of business applications, and any vendors that are used to monitor, manage, and protect your network and data. You want to start with building almost like a technology org chart, a list of what vendors and applications you use and what you use it for. If there's a vendor that a vendor uses, that should get documented there as well. That's literally why it's almost like an org chart. If they connect to your network, access your data, or store your data in the cloud, that's your starting point. As you receive these, you want to understand if they're collecting any PII related data, as that can trigger a completely different set of breach notifications, and it's important to separate that. How the data is collected, how it's stored, the encryption methods used, the vendor compliance frameworks and certifications that they use, and a policy review should be completed. Now, SOC 2 certifications review these policies pretty in depth. So you should be okay to accept if they can provide you that SOC 2 final audit report and save yourself the time from requesting all those policies, which they're probably going to challenge you on anyways. So before you ask, yes, over the next 4 weeks, we will be working on creating those same policies you're requesting from those vendors, because you should have them as well. If you're contracting with a managed services provider or an IT vendor, get them involved in this process, as they can likely speed up the process with the vendors that you use. But you want to have them list the applications and services which are deployed to protect your network and data. They should have vetted these vendors already. And if you trust them to deploy the tool in your network, then you should trust their judgment on why the tool is needed. If you're in healthcare, finance, government, or just want to dig deeper into the security aspects, ask to review the security documentation for those vendors. But be prepared to sign NDAs, as most vendors will require it to protect their own security stack. Now, if you have any questions, post them in the comments section of the video. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And also, there's a great group of people that follow along with the Morning Breach that I'm sure you're going to get lots of great answers. That's today's episode of the Morning Breach. If you've learned something new by watching this, please take a second and like and share the video. If you want to see more episodes of the Morning Breach or find useful resources in helping you secure your organization, please visit themorningbreach.com and follow along with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thanks for watching.